Okay, welcome everybody to Weekly Anime Rundown, Episode 2, or Week 4 of, the spring season. It's gonna be roughly the same as last week. We're gonna have the 5 shows we're currently watching. Y'all haven't recommended anything, so we haven't gotten a fan pick choice yet, but we're waiting on y'all. So if y'all are interested in us watching a show y'all want us to for a week, we will. We'll watch it from start to wherever it is currently, and we'll include it in the show, as well as we're also going to keep our retro redemption at the end of the episode. So please stick around for that, or skip to it, whichever you want. And let's get this started.
Let's go, boys.
So I was thinking, either we start with, well, I guess we do season 2 stuff first. So let's talk about Hero Academia or Academia,
Yeah, okay,
because
let's
I never say it correctly.
talk about Hero Academia.
Academia.
So, the cavalry battle
It's a lot more
officially
action
started.
packed than I figured it would be.
Yeah, it really is something.
Because when they were talking about it, I was like, is this gonna be like some form of like race? Like they said battle, but I don't know. Like it's just a guy riding 2 other people.
Yeah, I think
Is this really
most
gonna
of
turn into anything?
I think most of the battle is gonna be next episode,
Oh no, definitely.
but
Like,
yeah, I know what you're talking about. There wasn't really much actual fighting going on.
well, no, I mean like when they were introducing it, I thought, oh, this is so not gonna be anything interesting. This is just gonna be like cut and dry people running around in circles and stuff. And turns out, nope, people are actually doing things. And I'm like, whoa, hold on there. Not what I was expecting.
So, let's see here. Izuku ended up being with Mei Uraraka and Tokoyami, which is kind of a.
Dude, I was so not expecting Tokoyami,
I
but
really
when he
wasn't.
showed up, I was just like, this guy's perfect.
They,
Like, this guy is what they need right now.
yeah, they kind of. It almost seemed like they had 5 people because of Dark Shadow.
So his ability is he has a person living inside of him,
Yeah,
but they're physically connected to each other, so they count as one person.
yeah. It was kind of like cheap a little bit because they basically had 5 people, but really it's just 4.
Which is really good because Tokiyami, he's pretty fast and strong, so he's good for mobility, as well as his quirk is basically an omnidirectional mid-range defense, like they said during the episode. I'm just like, oh, that's gonna be a little bit overpowering.
Yeah,
like
and with the
like that is
combination of Mei's stuff that she makes.
anti-grav
Yeah,
and the the subclass girl with all her gadgets. Like
yeah. They could like fly
really,
around.
that's like an OP combo on its own for mobility. Well, until it broke,
Yeah, well, yeah,
and then freaking Tokoyami is rocking the defense and mobility, like pushing everyone around. So I mean, I think they're gonna do great until next episode because yeah,
next episode is gonna be a big battle between the two big forces.
yeah. Too bad Bakchan isn't really a big force anymore. like
Yeah,
like he's a hothead with an ability to just explode everything, but he's just like he's the hothead. He doesn't really do anything anymore.
I found it really funny how everybody was going after Izuku, right? Because 10 million.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, come on, come on. But then Kirishima was just going around to everybody else and just quickly just taking their
Well,
headbands
that's
off.
that's the thing. Class B need to think smart because they can't outdo Class A in like raw ability and I wouldn't necessarily say talent, but like experience.
Yeah,
Like they just can't compete.
for
Mainly
sure.
because Class A did fight the villains, as well as Class A is also like they were hand picked for the hero class.
Mhm.
So obviously they're going to be on a slightly different level.
Yeah, for sure. And so
Um,
Bakugo lost his headband pretty quickly because of
oh,
Kirishima.
he wasn't even paying attention.
Yeah, he was
Like,
absolutely out of there.
like I was just like, yeah. I was kind of expecting. I kind of assumed that one of the two people that will lose their headbands first will either be Bakugo or the girl who's invisible.
Yeah,
Just because she's invisible and it's really easy to see her headband.
yeah. And she I think she might have been the first person to lose her headband.
I think, yeah, she was, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was just
Um,
didn't even know it was gone.
she was the person that hinted at Class B going for everyone else's headbands first.
Yeah,
And really, Class B's, since they have to like outthink Class A, they're making all the smart moves. It's like, yeah, we'll give up first place, but we'll probably end up with second or third because we're taking everyone else's headbands.
yeah,
So it's definitely that class is making a lot of moves forward in the right direction, and this entire anime is going kind of in a direction I wasn't expecting, like battle between classes.
yeah. It does seem
I was
that way.
expecting a lot more head-to-head problems with the villains, but now that I think about it, you got to give the villains time to heal up because they all kind of had the crap beaten out of them a while back.
Yeah. One of the interesting things about the rules of the battle, the cavalry battle, was that nobody is ever eliminated.
You're eliminated if you directly like attack another person.
Well, I mean, yeah, like other than that though, I wasn't because like if you lose your headband, you're not out.
Well, yeah, so people would still have a chance to
I found that
get
interesting.
back. I think that's a very generous rule to
Yeah.
have in there.
I wasn't expecting them to be, like generous like that and give them that opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. That did catch me off guard. I'm just like, huh, that's. I was expecting you guys to be more ruthless, especially with a dominatrix like
Yeah,
taking the charge on this whole thing.
for real. I also the Ida part where he Izuku wants him to come be on their team and he's just like, "Nah, dude. I've always been following you." So it's like I'm not going to get anywhere if I just keep following you type
I
of thing.
kind of, yeah, I started getting that vibe in the race at the very beginning because he was just he started realizing that he's falling behind Izuku.
Yeah.
And if he wants to catch up to his brother's legend, which is, his brother's a well-renowned hero and carrying the family name and all that, he's gonna have to start, you know, pulling his own weight and all that. Well, not really pulling his own weight, but like trying to go above and beyond the people in his own class.
Yeah. And he teamed up with Todoroki, so the next episode, obviously, when Izuku is facing Todoroki, it's going to be interesting what Ida tries to do in that episode to make himself stand out.
Yeah, and the other thing about Todoroki is there was a few. It was actually kind of more hinting at um, character development. He's talking about how he doesn't use his what was it, his left hand because that's the one with fire that he got
Yeah,
from his dad.
yeah,
Because he got ice from his mother. So obviously there is some family issues going on with him and his dad, as well as I don't know. I can't tell if he wants his dad to respect him or he's afraid of his dad.
yeah. I'm not quite sure on that one yet either.
In the race, when he took out the 0 point barricade guys, he was talking about, my dad's watching. And
Mm,
then now when he's talking about how he doesn't like to use his left hand and he looks at his dad like I hate your guts kind of. It's like I can't tell if you resent the dude or you want him to approve of you.
yeah, for sure.
But I also feel like that's the reason why his face is burned.
Yeah, yeah,
Either it was his dad or he did it to himself by accident. Like maybe his left hand went out of control and something happened.
maybe. Maybe they'll have like a backstory episode coming up.
Oh, I would love that. That'd be awesome. But I also, so his superhero costume that he has is mainly just a white suit, but he freezes half of himself, and he freezes the half that controls fire, like he's trying to seal it in. And I was thinking that was kind of cool too.
That's an interesting point to bring up.
Anyways, I feel like that's enough for Hero Academia. You know, we need to save something for next week other than just the very little we're going to get for that episode.
Alright. Okay, so I guess maybe if we're going to keep on the topic of second seasons, we should hop over to Attack on Titan.
Yeah, Attack on Titan. That one's gotten weird.
Yeah, definitely got a little weird in this episode for sure.
Yeah. I'm going to start off with the food can. The food can's really interesting, how it's in a different language that other people can't read except for the one girl.
Ymir, yeah.
Oh, and then also the fact that, Ymir is a Titan. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Freaking... I don't know. I wasn't expecting that, but at the same time, it didn't totally surprise me. Like, I don't really know how to explain that, but it was just like... I was almost kind of disappointed. I'm like, really? Another Titan? Like...
Yeah.
Like, is it just like the entire population is a Titan and no anyone else to know?
They just gotta figure it out. The hard part is figuring out that you're a Titan, and then you realize it, and yeah, everybody's just a Titan.
Everyone's just a Titan now. It's fine.
So, it did seem like Connie mentioned that the one Titan on top of the house gave off the vibe of his mom.
Yeah, so we talked about this before, and I was saying, I think it's his brother because of the less formed legs.
Yeah.
But I guess the mom would be alright too. But so what I'm thinking is the Beast Titan turned that village into Titans.
Maybe.
Because the Beast Titan obviously knows a lot of stuff that's going on.
Yeah,
as
clearly.
well as I don't know, there's something going on with him. Because let's say Connie's village was the only one that was turned.
Okay.
And they surrounded the tower, right?
Uh-huh.
The 4 scouts that were there killed most of those guys, and then suddenly another bigger wave showed up.
Yeah.
So obviously, those guys had to come from somewhere, and there still isn't a hole in the wall. So...
True.
I feel like something's going on. Like, either more people are turning into Titans, or now that there actually is a hole in the wall, something's going on. Like, these Titans have to come from somewhere.
Yeah. I kind of wonder where they're actually coming from, to be honest. There was that one bit with when the Titans got into the tower and Rainer opened up the door. It was like, why aren't they here yet? And then he opened the door and there was that one Titan just sitting there staring at him.
I was just like, nope.
Oh, dude, that genuinely scared me.
I was like, no, please, no. please, please.
And
I also feel like Reiner's hiding something.
Yeah, he could
be. He's, I don't want to say too calm and collected, but he's like, I don't know, it's like he's paying attention to all the wrong details that are important at that moment.
Yeah.
Like, I guess he didn't know that the tower was surrounded by Titans at that time. But I mean, like, he's worried about Connie worrying about his family. while his own family could be at risk, other people's families could be at risk.
Yeah, that's true.
He just it's like his priorities are like completely flipped than what they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Reiner, dude, you gotta pay attention to what's going on in the storyline right now. Okay?
Bro,
focused.
There's all these titans right here. You gotta try something here, buddy. I love.
And then freaking Ymir goes and jumps off a building and becomes a titan.
Hey Connie, can I see that knife? Yeah, I'm gonna jump off of this this wall here. I'm just gonna hop off the tower real quick.
I don't know. It was just that's like the Twilight or X-Files episode of the series. It's just like, well, we ran out of ideas. Let's just throw the plot line into the fan and pick up the jumbled mess and see what happens. I'm just like, guys, come on, what's going on?
I will say that going back to Reiner and the Titan inside the tower, whenever the Titan bit him, and he just kind of picked the Titan up and went upstairs, I was like, bro.
Okay, about that part, I was getting goosebumps. I'm like, dude, this guy is awesome. But then freaking Connie dislocates the jaw, and then they leave the Titan on the windowsill.
They just left him there, yeah.
I'm like, you idiots. It's still sitting there. Like, you're just, okay, you broke the jaw. Okay, you carried it up the flight of stairs. What now?
I'm just sitting there like, push it out the window. It's an open window.
Like, oh, it's gonna push itself out the window. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's just gonna fall backwards for sure.
I'm like, all of this work, you barely survived, you got lucky, and then you just gotta sit there and watch it. You twats!
Bro!
I actually kind of like just lost it there, and I was just screaming at the characters like, you idiots! What are you doing?
Bro, I will say that my favorite scene probably this whole season, I don't know if there will be a better one, but Krista was helping Reiner, with his arm, and he just goes, I gotta marry her.
I gotta marry her.
And then right after that, Ymir tells Krista that she scraped up her arm a little bit and wanted some help with it, and Connie just goes, spit on it or something. And I'm just like...
She's like, I got a couple scratches on my hand, and he's like, spit on it. And I'm just sitting here, oh my gosh.
That was such a good scene.
Starting from the beginning, and the person in the middle doesn't know what the hell's going on.
That had to be one of the best scenes so far.
Oh man, because that was from an earlier scene. It was when they were exploring outside as a group, and they first meet Annie and Titan form, like the she Titan.
Yeah.
The guys were having a conversation about Krista, and they were just like, who's gonna marry her? And I'm like, this is such a stupid conversation. And then that episode happened, and he like snaps into realization and looks straight up at nothing, and he's like, I gotta marry her. And I'm just like, oh my god, I love this.
For real, dude.
It's just like, oh my goodness. Like, Reiner, you're slowly becoming my favorite character, man.
I also enjoyed the one scene where Gelgar was like, just wants to kill himself, so he just falls off, but he was like, I need a drink. I wish I had a drink before I died. But then Nanaba comes down and saves him and throws him up there, and he finds the alcohol that Krista used to help Reiner, so it was empty. I was like, that could not have gone better. That was such a perfect thing for them to throw in there.
I've started to realize in the second season they're adding a lot more comedy relief.
I'm kind of glad though, because it's like,
I am too.
It only adds to how great the series
80
is.
Insane people running around in circles killing oversized people.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't working, guys.
Pretty much. Okay.
That's pretty great. All right, let's change things up and move over to Love Tyrant, mainly because that episode, they finally did something I wanted.
Finally did something you wanted?
starting this off, I was really, really disappointed that the pink chick was not part of this. And I was mad. I'm like, she was at the end of the other episode.
So the episode started with it was kind of like a backstory between how the pink-haired girl actually knew Yuzu and Akane.
No, that was like halfway through.
There was little bits sort of throughout the entire first half.
Yeah. And like the moment you saw the little girl, pink hair, you knew exactly who she was supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, and then this like black-haired chick shows up, and I'm just like, excuse me, I want the pink-haired chick. She's hot. She looks awesome. And she's probably even more psychotic than Akane. And I was really disappointed. She hasn't shown up yet. And then finally at the end, she takes off everything, and I'm just like, oh my god!
Turns out Shikimi
so
was
happy.
the pink-haired girl.
I was like, finally, a show actually brings in a character I want to see when I want to see it.
So whenever Guri told Akane that Seiji was with a girl, she starts freaking out, right?
Dude, she flipped. Like, she just went 180 and just practically lit herself on fire. Like,
But
she
then,
she was pissed.
whenever Guri told her that it was Shikimi, she seemed to, like, actually get concerned. It wasn't just her yandere, like
it wasn't.
I'm gonna
it wasn't
kill
like
you.
She's angry. She's like worried.
Yeah, she was genuinely became concerned. Because all the backstory stuff that happened in the first half of the episode, where it was Yuzu getting bullied by the pink-haired girl, she probably is like, yo, something's actually gonna happen.
Yeah. And in the memories, I don't remember anything really happening to Akane.
No.
In reference to the pink-haired girl, which I kind of wish we had a name to go with it.
Oh, it's Shikimi.
Oh yeah, it's Shikimi. I was like, why is Akane freaking out? Like, Akane is the crazy ass psychopath. Psychopaths don't really feel emotion. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is going on? Like, but apparently, something crazy's happening.
Yeah.
And the pink stuff that
The like
Ayano
slime.
got stuck in, I was like, well, I don't know. It kind of looked like spider webs to me.
It was. I'm not too sure what it was, to be honest.
But
with
also in the childhood memories, Shikimi had a spider web on her shirt.
you. Oh, interesting.
So you got, what was it? Yuku has force field abilities,
Yeah, Yuzu.
and Akane has like supernatural physical abilities. So I feel like superpowers are not out of the question for people.
Definitely not out of the question for this.
Well, except for Ayano. He just kind of sits there and gets stabbed.
Well, I mean, I guess superpower could be, you have angel powers, so you can't die.
Oh no, that's
I don't-
Guri then.
Yeah, but since all four of them are in the relationship with Guri, they all get the ability to not
They
die.
all just don't die, basically. They don't really get anything special.
See,
They're just like, hey, have fun constantly killing each other
Since-
over and over again.
I feel like
Um,
Shikimi is in love with Seiji because she seems to
I think
have a fetish for torture.
she's obsessed with taking things from the sisters.
Oh, that's a good suggestion right there, because how she took
Because-
the doll from Yuzu
Yeah.
in the backstory portions. Wow.
There's a lot of animes where, you always have a character who ends up in like love triangles and such, mainly because they're obsessed with taking things away from the other characters, and then they end up falling for the person themselves.
That's
Like
true.
Yuku, she's obsessed with Akane, but obviously over time she's falling for Ayano.
That's absolutely true.
So
That's a great
there-
point.
I feel like she's more obsessed with taking things from the sisters, and the fact that that's now a boy doesn't change your plans whatsoever.
Let's not be wrong here by saying that she definitely has a fetish for torture, and the fact that Seiji
Is
can't
immortal,
die,
is gonna,
she's gonna go ham on that fool.
yeah, like she is currently.
How the episode
Like
ended.
that last scene in that episode, I was like, there is a very, 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 very thin, blurry line between this and hentai. Just saying.
And it's called
Like,
clothes.
Like the very little amount of clothes and the fact that no one's completely undressed. That's basically the only difference. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, this show is definitely going to be the love equivalent of Death Note. You know, over the top and very graphic.
Well, I think that's kind of what they're trying to go for with the Kiss Note type of thing.
Well, yeah, obviously, but I'm like, over the top and very graphic is the trend with magical notebooks that you write people's names in.
Yeah, seems like it, huh?
I'm just kind of disappointed we haven't got a I take a potato chip and eat it scene yet. Like that was my favorite scene in all of Death Note. Is just he's going all ham bone over eating a freaking potato.
Hey man, we got 6 more episodes. You never know what's gonna happen.
True.
So, okay, so the compatibility barometer.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about that. That seems interesting. Like I feel like it's a good thing we have that, so Guri just doesn't go and is like, hey, there's 8 people over there. Let's make it like an 8-way couple.
Let's there's those 2 dudes talking to each other. Maybe they love each other. Well, let's make it happen.
When she was doing an example, there was 2 dudes right next to each other, and I'm like, oh god. I'm like, this is going to be the example. I'm glad it wasn't, but I'm just like, that was my first reaction. I'm like, she's totally just gonna go straight and be like, let's make a gay couple. Oh, gay couples don't work all the time. Okay.
So Yuzu has triple S, I think it was, and Akane only had a B rating.
5 or 6. Like she definitely had more than Yuzu.
Whenever Yuzu and Akane, it was Yuzu loved Akane way more, but when it was Akane and Seiji, it was Akane was like 6 S's and Seiji
I just
was
loved how
an
it was
A.
basically breaking the phone when it was scanning Akane. Like the phone was like glitching out and the screen turned partially black, and I'm just like, I love it.
Uh-oh. But then,
although if they do that for all the characters to see like who likes who and all this, I really want to know what the pink-haired girls is going to be.
An interesting thing is Yuzu and Seiji, they were both B. Like they were really compatible.
I think one of them was C and the other one was B. But yeah, they're both really moderate.
Good. Yeah. They love each other, I guess, equally, you could say.
Yeah, I feel like they're probably about like friend level, but if you add anything else to it, it's above that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because when she was reading it, she said maybe more than friends. So that means they're probably at friend level right now.
I would say so.
And that's kind of how they seem. Like that's how they've been acting. So that doesn't really surprise me. All right, after we got to the barometer, I feel like we should go on to the next show. You want to do King's Avatar since we got 2 episodes this time?
We could do King's Avatar.
We technically got 2 episodes. More like we got the makeup for a week late stuff. Whatever, technicalities. The boss is starting to make me mad.
Okay, so
not in a bad way. Like I love the boss. She's probably my favorite character in that show, other than, of course, the main guy. But I'm just like, how dense are you? Like he's obviously doing everything to prove that he is, what was it? The last autumn leaf.
God Yi. You can just call him God Yi.
God Yi. I don't know, but that's not his character name. Anyways. Like, he's doing everything to prove that he's God Yi. Like, he beats everybody, like, in 40 seconds or less.
Yeah.
He's got 4 first kills. He set the record for the Frozen Forest. until it just recently got beat. Like he's doing everything, proving he's the best player in the game, and freaking she's just not believing him. So I really want to know when she's actually going to start believing him.
Yeah,
And also, I think it would be kind of nice to be able to see her in some more glory fights as well.
and
Because I want to see more about her avatar.
her friend Tengro, she invites Tengro over to just basically train up her character
Yeah.
because she doesn't want to do it.
Well, it's more like she can't.
Well, yeah, probably more like that. But I'm giving her the
She's-
benefit of the
says
doubt.
that, she's her cheat code.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you suck at this game, apparently.
So
And I like how he reacted to what her saying that, it's a simple game.
yeah,
Like, you can
she
tell
said she
he
didn't want to
snapped.
make a character because it's such a simple game, and he was like, "Bro,
You saw his face. He's like, he snapped. He's not happy with you. And he like beat her 14 times in a row and took all her money. And it's just like, oh.
I like how Sister Chen made up a story to get Tengru to keep playing, and she was like, Lord Grimm, this dude right over here, beat the same sorcerer you just beat in way less time than what you just did."
What was it? She was like 3 minutes and something, and he was like 40 seconds
Yeah.
on the dot. The first time he touched a computer in that entire internet cafe. And the other thing I like is he took all the money he won from her and just bought food for everybody.
They dueled, right? And obviously
Yeah.
it went in the game, and it like showed him the duels, and it showed Lord Grimm's umbrella, his umbrella weapon that doubled as a sword, spear, and a Gatling gun, and it like was able to summon a goblin.
Well, I think the goblin summoning and the ninja are both his abilities, because he is classless.
Yeah.
So he's probably dabbling in some magic. But what I'm worried about is the reason he's a classless is because of his umbrella. So if he ever loses his umbrella, he's not going to have a weapon that he'll be able to base his class around.
That's very
Because that's
true.
what he's doing right now. Which, obviously, in that game, I highly doubt you can equipment and stuff. But I'm just saying, like, that seems like a very predictable kind of story arc twist. And, like, if that ever happens, and the fact that he's basing his class around the weapon, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, that really would be an issue. Going back to the dueling, I really liked how whenever Lord Grimm, officially beat Tengro, he was like, "Look, if you ever want to beat me, you should try again in 100 years."
And the boss was all like, she's like, that's a bit harsh. She's
That's
like, okay,
a bit harsh.
maybe not 100 years. It was like a little bit less modest version of you still suck in comparison to me. Like, yeah. I kind of like how smug he was being about it.
Yeah. And then the Lord Grimm, and Tengro, they dueled like a whole bunch of times where he got the money to buy all the food that you mentioned later on. And it caused Tengru to actually create a character at the beginning of episode 4.
And you obviously realize that, she's interested in his abilities because she wanted to make a class like him.
Yeah, she wanted to be classless, but then whenever, Sister Chen was like, "Bro, that's, hard."
He's doing it because of his weapon.
Yeah, she then decides to become a battle mage class, which is the same thing that God Ye played as, which is the same person.
Which is also him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll give you some tips if you want.
Yeah,
now,
he's
what
like,
I was really hoping for was that she was going to watch the original God Yi videos and realize that God Yi and him fight the same way. I really, really wanted that. Because if that showed up, then freaking you would actually have someone who realizes he is God Yi. And I
Yeah.
thought that would have been awesome, but that didn't happen, unfortunately.
At some point in time, somebody's gonna end up figuring out that
I
he's
really want
got
the
Yi.
boss to. Like, I feel like once the boss does it, she's gotta get out of her little slump she's in and be like a million times better. But I don't know. I can't say anything.
Yeah.
I don't know how this story is gonna go, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it will.
Yeah.
Mainly just because it's really quickly, like very quickly, becoming my favorite show in this entire in this entire season.
I've been hyped up for this show since the PV came out.
Yeah, you have. Like you were rambling and rambling about it. I was just like, what is up with this guy? And now I'm like,
I knew what I was talking about, dude.
I'm sitting here and I'm just like, it needs to be next week. Like, can we please?
Can we get that next episode out, please?
Hurry this up, please. Please. Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about the world boss for a second.
That was awesome.
That was a really interesting how they did the world boss thing.
So when they first started talking about the world boss, they were talking about Gunslinger, the Blood Gunslinger, and I was sitting here, I'm like, I feel like that's a character. Like I was thinking it was a person. I'm glad I was wrong because freaking it being a world boss was a million times cooler. But I loved how he was sitting there, and he was going up against all these guys, and he was going up against the main guy, and then like he takes this noob team and practically beats the stuffing out of the world boss with him.
All right, so what happened was it's so funny. I think it's pretty ironic that Lord Grimm takes on Bloodgunner Yogg head on by himself right in front of the top 3 guilds on the server.
Well, they were just sitting there waiting. They're like, we're gonna let him beat the crap out of these noobs, and then we'll move in and do our thing. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why are these guilds waiting?
Yeah, there was this guy named Brawler, who's an absolute noob, and he was just he was getting smashed.
I don't really think he was a noob. I think he was more of an idiot, like they were saying.
Yeah.
Like instead of pounding a brick into the boss's head, he slaps him, and you're just like, fam, could you please get a brain? Like you're supposed to be killing the guy.
Okay, so what had happened was there was this guy named Brawler was like, okay, I'm so cool and everything. And so then he's on the ground losing, and Lord Grimm shows up and starts attacking the boss. And the other 3 guilds are like, alright boys, we're going in. There's no way he's going to do this right in front of us. And then whenever the world boss becomes enraged, 100 zombies spawn in. And the other 3 guilds are fighting the zombies, and Lord Grimm lures the boss away from the other guilds, specifically so that he could fight the boss by himself. And he takes this Brawler guy with him, and out of nowhere comes your boy Little Moon with his and his little squad.
I feel like, where did those guys even come from?
I have no idea where they came from, but they just popped up.
Oh, add them to your team before he even sees who they are. It's like, oh, I know exactly who they are and where they came from. Don't worry about it. Okay.
And so they ended up getting the first kill on Bloodgunner Yogg, which, of course, because that would be the 4th first kill, I believe, for
it is
Lord Grimm.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's the 4th. It might be like later on, because he got 3 kills the first night the server was open, but they never said anything about if he's gotten any since then.
Okay, well, yeah, it's the 4th first kill that's been shown in the show.
Yeah.
And at the very end of the episode, this random other guild that nobody knows about just
beats his record.
Beats the Frozen Forest record by like 11 minutes or something. I can't remember exactly the times.
It was. I think he finished it in like. He either finished it in 20 or 24. So they probably beat it in like 6 to 11 minutes.
I think they beat it in like
They beat it in
13.
like 13.
Yeah. So they absolutely destroyed the previous record, and I'm interested to see, where that goes with the storyline in these next few episodes, if it even matters at all.
They're obviously going to. They're obviously going to. I feel like. I feel like the person leading that guild is someone from his past life,
Could
like
be.
as a pro gamer. I feel like at least someone is from a past life.
That could definitely be the case. I wouldn't doubt that that would be what's happening.
It just, I don't know, it just gives me that vibe because someone's better than him with a group of noobs. They're probably a pro player.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the trend that's been going on in the show.
And maybe none of them are noobs. Maybe all of them are really experienced.
That's also a possibility.
Because, I mean, they did actually destroy his record. So it could be more than just one pro gamer on there.
Yeah, that's also true. It could very easily be multiple. Huh. I'm really looking forward to seeing where, you know, those where that guild is going to come in and how
Yeah.
they're going to loop into everything else.
I wonder when he's gonna, Lord Grimm, whenever he's gonna either start a guild or join a guild permanently, rather than just
I don't-
party up with
I don't
random
think he
people.
will.
You don't think he's ever gonna be in a guild?
He I know this is referencing like the worst anime ever, but he seems a lot more like Kirito from freaking Sword Art Online. He really takes that classless Lone Ranger type. Like he'll meet up with people long enough to get them to a higher level, or he just needs like extra bodies to help him do stuff faster. But he doesn't really seem like the type to, settle down and bunker in
It
or whatever.
it does seem for him he somehow keeps wrapping around and keeps coming in contact with ya boy Little Moon Moon. So I wonder
Yeah,
if I wonder
I
if
find that pretty interesting.
I wonder if Little Moon Moon's gonna have, a deeper storyline in this
Yeah.
show than it
He's
seems like.
probably gonna like at this point he's obviously like a part of the show, but he's obviously going to become a larger part later on.
Yeah,
Mainly just because of how often he keeps showing up.
yeah, that's definitely what it seems like. All right, so enough with that show. Let's go on to the.
But I like that show.
It's a good show, but we gotta talk about other stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Let's talk about recreators.
Ooh, so what I was thinking is, so they were talking about editing the character that's already there.
Yeah,
So what I was thinking is either they're on the right track of, it's the fan base that brought the characters alive, so it has to be the fan base that accepts changes,
yeah,
or they have to make changes to the anime.
yeah. Because
Because
Celestia is from the anime.
He's from the anime, not the manga. And those are the manga writers.
Yeah,
So they didn't really touch on that, and I'm probably overthinking it, but that's what I'm thinking, is she's from the anime, so she has to,
yeah.
all that has
The
to
the characters in the show mention that all the people that are being brought to life are from very popular items that the fan base really enjoys. So that's
Yeah.
what they mention. But if you think deeper into it, like what you're talking about, Celestia's from the anime, not the manga. So it could be based on where the anime needs to change, not the manga.
That's at least my personal thinking.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting point. I never really thought about it whenever I was watching the episode. That never crossed my mind, but that's really, that could definitely be the case.
That show's taken some interesting turns. Not quite like Love Tyrant or anything, but it's starting to veer more personal than based around conflict, which I find interesting. To me, when I first saw it, I was immediately thinking this show is going to be like all action, everyone's head to head, like practically battle royale style, but it doesn't seem to be that way.
And a new character actually did get introduced with Alistelia when she saved Mamika from Yuya at the very beginning. There wasn't really much of her in the episode.
Oh yeah, her.
But she definitely got introduced. She like came in on a horse just out of nowhere from the sky. She was just like, "Hey, how you doing? Let me save you real quick."
Yeah, I almost want to call her a Valkyrie.
Well,
but she's so obviously none of these characters are going to be coming from the same show.
That's what it seems like, yeah.
Because every time a new character shows up, the main character and the artist look at each other and they're like, they're from this show. I'm just like, thank you for that random information that doesn't apply to my reality, but also thank you for letting me know that they're not from any show that any of these people would even know.
Yeah.
None of these characters know each other, so everyone's going to be standoffish and like, I'm going to beat your head in first. So I wonder if all the conflict in the future is either going to be based off of like differing personal interests or just straight up misunderstanding.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested. This like you said, the show definitely did take a turn, but it's still very interesting, and I'm kind of looking forward to see what exactly happens. And also at the end of the episode when Gunpuku was talking to Setsuna, I don't know exactly who Setsuna is, but she said, I didn't think that Soda would be involved in her destiny again, and that Soda is part of the world that banished Setsuna.
Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking there's going to be a bit of a time loop going on, and I think the military girl is from his future anime he's writing.
Oh, do you think so?
Because at the beginning of this, he was talking about, I dabble in drawing and writing, and then they're like, you should continue this because the people you're writing are uncompleted, and they're going to, be struggling or whatever. So you need to finish your work for them. And I was thinking, that's kind of interesting. But in this last episode, when he sits down and he starts to seriously think about drawing, you could see he has this flashback moment where he's thinking about the military girl.
Yeah,
so I feel like she's going to be the person he draws.
That's very interesting.
That could end up leading to him drawing her anime or manga.
So whatever anime or manga gets produced from his story, it could be
the start of all of this.
It could be like a really popular one, and somehow Gunpuku comes out of it and somehow makes it so that she goes back in time and starts.
She has a lot of abilities. She has the ability to go in and out of her show as well as others.
Yeah.
So time abilities don't seem too much of a stretch.
So she could go back in time to when she was being created and bring in all these other characters.
Because her whole thing is about going and convincing the original artist or maker to change their ideas. So what would be a better time than going back to when the person was actually creating it for the first time?
That's a nice little theory you got going. I could definitely see that happening.
I just feel like that'd an interesting twist.
That's interesting, dude. Make a spin-off anime.
But at the same time, I also have a bad habit of being like, ooh, this is going to be interesting, and I overthink it, and it's just like, oh, well, that's not how the show went.
Wow. All right. That's that's definitely an interesting scenario you just brought upon me, and you're making me think a lot now.
I like to keep things interesting.
Definitely keeping things interesting over here.
Well, it's not like the anime aren't doing a good enough job of that. I mean,
Yeah, you're
a
definitely.
lot of them are going in a lot of very interesting directions.
That's definitely a true statement from you. But enough about anime from this season. How about we take it back a few years?
About the Retro Redemption.
Retro
Okay,
Redemption.
This week, I picked, since before I did an older one, I'm deciding to go with a newer one. This one was spring 2015. I think it was also released in April. I guess some of them do it like slightly out of sync with others. It's DanMachi, which also has a current season going on, but it's not quite a second season, and I'll get into that in a minute. DanMachi is a very interesting show that blatantly doesn't care about the fact that it's an ecchi harem, because the title legitimately means, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? like before I even watched the show, the English version of the title, and I'm just like, I love the show already. I haven't even watched it yet, and it's just gotta love it. But the show, quite accurately, is a real life RPG dungeon game.
Yeah.
Like, the levels always change. They're always moving around. You go down I think it's a tower, but they say you, like, go down a level, which is really weird, but, freaking each level you go down is increasingly more difficult than last, and then you got boss dungeons, and then after a boss dungeon you have kind of the R&R dungeon room. Like, it's quite literally a RPG game. You've got elves, you've got different classes, you've got the main guy, and he's kind of a rogue scavenger class, you know. He runs around with a knife and, you know, mainly goes for loot to support his goddess, who's the only, you know, he's the only person in that guild. And I also think that, I'm not entirely sure, but I think the gods are based around Greek mythology, because I always have a problem pronouncing his name. It's like, Hesperides is the forge, like the god of forging. You know, they make weapons and armor and all that. That's, in Greek mythology, it's an ugly dude, and in this one, it's a chick with an eye patch. A little bit of difference, but it's really interesting. And if anyone liked the idea of SAO, like I brought up earlier, if you're okay with it not being a video game, this is the show for you, because it's set up exactly the same, if not a little bit better, and they just they don't really seem to care if you think about it as an ecchi harem show or not. There's a lot of kind of goosebump, tension-building scenes. My personal favorite is part of the way through when he basically fights his own version of a boss. It's not actually a boss, but for someone on his level, it's like way out of his league. And it's just, the show is really interesting. And the main character, his ability is the only one of its kind. His ability is called the Argonaut, which is the person who wants to be a hero. So he levels up quicker than anybody else. That's all he has. And he doesn't have anything special about him. He doesn't do anything cool. He just sits there and he levels up faster. It's like he's got like a 20% XP bonus. And that's about it. And the cool thing I find is they actually have a leveling up system. You know, people actually level up and they gain skills and stuff, even though they're people. So it's basically an RPG game from the viewpoint of the characters in game. And I thought that was really cool. That's what makes the show shine for me. And finally, back to the whole weird second season thing. It's actually from the viewpoint of a different character. And she is the ditz, pretty blonde person that is ridiculously overpowered. It's always, I don't know why, but the hot ditzy people are always the strongest. I don't get that, but that's how it is. And so the second season is based from her perspective, but it's not a continuation from the first season. It's kind of a retelling of the first season, so that it's kind of interesting, and I've been dabbling in it. Haven't sat down and seriously, kind of went over it, but it's. I wish they did the second season, mainly because the season ended up. There was like the coolest boss fight ever. But I feel like that show is really going so, and I can't wait for an actual second season. But this is a nice filler until then. That's about it.
Wow. All right. That sounds like a great show.
I feel like that's about everything, right?
All right.
We went over the current shows. We went over that. If only we had, a fan pick.
One of the fan viewer choice picks. Just a quick reminder, everybody. If you leave a comment down below on whatever video you're watching, my channel or VertigoGhoul's, you can let us know a show that you guys are really enjoying for this spring 2017 season, and if you guys are enjoying it, let us know in the comments down below, and whichever show has the most votes, we will pick it and we will discuss it in a segment we're going to call Viewer's Choice. And so that's just a quick reminder. Just leave the comments down below and we'll talk about it.
And you guys got to remember, we want to know what you guys like too, because otherwise it's just us sitting up here just talking in circles. But also, it's kind of nice to have a different variety of things to talk about. So we obviously want to know what you guys are going to talk about. So don't leave us out of the loop.
Very true.
I guess that's all for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment. And you can even share if you think this is interesting and other people would be interested in it.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channels, VertigoGhoul and YelowishSnowman, for more of this show and other stuff on our channels.
Yeah, that would be much appreciated. We would definitely enjoy that and appreciate it. So, thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you next week. Peace out.
Peace out, my dudes.